It is 6:30 on Wednesday, July 28th, 2021, and we'll call this meeting to order. Lisa, would you please call the roll?
Ben Owens,
Present?
Anna Marie Noor,
Present.
Jim Jordan,
Present.
Troy Anderson,
Present.
Robert Downey.
Present.
All right, thank you. We're on to item 1C, the Pledge of Allegiance. And Tracy Pastor, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Board,
I'd like to make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Troy Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye. The agenda is adopted as written. We have no call to the public this evening. On to item number 3, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you, President Owens. We'd like to remind everyone that with our return to school, we have reinstated many familiar practices of in-person learning. As a reminder, MUSD procedures for COVID response include masks are optional indoors and outdoors. We will encourage social distancing when possible. We'll promote frequent hand washing and proper respiratory etiquette. We will have employee and student workstations will be cleaned regularly, and electrostatic sprayers will be used to disinfect classrooms and buses. And drinking fountains will remain closed, so students are encouraged to bring reusable water bottles. If an individual tests positive for COVID-19, the affected person will isolate for 10 days. If an individual is exposed to a person who tests positive, parents will receive notification of exposure and may quarantine their children at their discretion. Transportation schedules will return to pre-COVID practices. We have an academic mitigation plan that is under development and intended to provide a digital version of in-person materials and assignments for students during isolation or optional quarantines. The mitigation plan ensures that students will remain current with their classwork and doesn't require teachers to teach concurrently. So those are our procedures for everyone who's curious. We'd like to extend a big thank you to our MUSD office staff and teachers for their diligent and detailed participation in the 10-day count. The 10-day count creates urgency around the accuracy of enrollment data and allows us to assess staffing needs and make adjustments as soon as possible. Early indicators are good and show that MUSD enrollment has increased consistent with our projection of approximately 300 students district-wide, which means we're right around 8,000 students. The Transportation Department is beaming with pride over the addition of 2 new buses to replace older buses in the MUSD fleet. The Thomas-made full-size 84-passenger buses come with all the bells and whistles, including LED lighting inside and out and a higher quality air conditioning system for improved circulation and filtration. So who's ready for a field trip? On July 15th, 65 new staff members attended the new certified staff induction. The day included training on the MUSD adopted programs for math, English language arts, and science. Guests were also treated to breakfast, lunch, and a special bus tour of our district boundaries led by Governing Board member Tori Anderson and Maricopa Wells School Principal Mr. Thad Miller. Participants showed how pleased they were with the warm welcome and the well-prepared training. It sounds like they're off to a great start. we're really proud to share that MUSD has hired and staffed 98% of classrooms with certified teachers. Specifically, that's 550 certified staff in our classrooms with only 8 vacancies filled by long-term guest teachers. Hats off to our human resources team for their ongoing effort to place great applicants in front of our principals for interviews and ultimate recommendation for hire. Meet the Teacher events were wildly successful across the district. One visitor shared, "The creativity of teachers never ceases to amaze me. I highly recommend visiting the fourth grade team at Santa Cruz to see the classrooms. What a great welcome for new students. Thank you to our teachers and administrators for pulling out all the stops to welcome the new students and ring in the new school year." Maricopa Virtual Academy hosted its first MVA Boot Camp so parents could experience online procedures and expectations and ask questions of teachers and Mr. Mitchell. Great job, Mr. Mitchell and the Academic Services Department for hosting such an important event. On July 21st, MUSD staff members attended the annual Welcome Back celebration. And this year we held it in 2 sessions. Returning teachers shared their personal magic they found during last year's challenges. And as is tradition, we reviewed MUSD goals and accomplishments and emphasized our commitment to care about each other while we do the important work of educating the wonderful students of MUSD. Another tradition and highlight of our back-to-school celebration, Maricopa High School students started and ended the event by playing the MHS fight song. So welcome 21-22 school year. Let's make it great. And finally, we have great news. With the passage of the state's budget, the Arizona legislature allocated additional funding for the construction of our second high school. MUSD will receive $18,826,250, which advances us closer to the master plan for the second high school. With these additional dollars, we can fully upgrade the classroom building with complete technology, infrastructure, maker spaces, and teaching stations. In the coming weeks, you, the governing board, will review the options for the phase build-out and determine exactly how the funding will be applied. And that's it for my report, Mr. Owens.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Lopman. That's one of the longer reports that we've had in a while.
A lot of good news.
A lot of good news. Right on. All right. Governing board member reports. Let's start down there with you, Mr. Downey.
Thank you, President Owen. I think it was last time we were here, Dr. Lopman said I was like a freshman. I feel a bit like that, at least not pre-garden or preschool or kindergarten. It's been exciting, starting the school year off with the governing board and the events. Attended the new teacher orientation, met a lot of new teachers, and attended the kickoff, which I think Dr. Lopman called the welcome backs. Very good, very exciting, and I'm excited for the year and to learn quickly. Hopefully not as fast as our students are going to learn their academic skills, but I'm looking forward to the year. That's it.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Downey. Mrs. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. So I just wanted to, it was so exciting for me to be able to do the bus tour on the 15th. I think this is probably the 4th or 5th year that I've been able to do that. But for me, it's more about welcoming not only our new teachers to a district, but for me, new teachers to a family. So it was very, very exciting to share some of our history and where the names of our schools came from is all in that Desert Reflections of a Desert Town. If you haven't read it, it was written by one of our former teachers, Mrs. Brock. I'm not sure if all of our school libraries have one. I think the high school one does. I know the public library does, but if not, principals, I would recommend you get that because it kind of gives you a history of where the name of your school came from. So that's a little bit of a fun little tidbit there. But it was always exciting to see the new staff and how exciting they were to be a part of the MUSD family. So we've got some great, great candidates that my hope is they'll be with us for the next 20 years. So the next board member after I'm long gone can take over that bus tour. So, but I enjoy sharing growing up here and some of the stories of what it was like when there was, 100 kids in high school versus many, many.
2,700.
So that's always fun. And then I want to say, Dr. Loatman, I thought, and I call it a pep rally, but on the 21st, when we had all the staff come back, it was great having it in 2 sessions. I was able to attend both sessions. Everybody's excitement, and I don't know if because we didn't get to do it last year, but I think this is the best one you've ever done. Seriously, maybe I was just, but I was like, yeah, let's go, yeah. And the videos that we played, Michelle Terry, hats off, amazing job. It's like, I want to get a job there. So it was pretty impactful. So I think it was one of the best ones we've had. So thank you, and all I can say is I am so looking forward to coming and visiting each one of your schools and touring the classrooms and kind of get some of your energy as we go past. Oh, I see some thumbs up. So I just can't wait to see teachers and students and parents in the hallways and be able to see smiles. So, so I'm just looking forward to a great year. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Anderson. Mr. Jordan.
Thank you. Yes, I was able to go to all these meetings with the new staff and even the previous one of the leadership, and all of the meetings that I've been able to attend showed a very positive outlook for the future. And when it came to the new staff and teachers, I rode the other bus with your brother. And so I spent the time with getting to know the teachers that were around me, because I really want to, in person, know them. And that was a highlight for me. I've been around Maricopa, but getting to know those teachers was more meaningful, and to let them know we've got their back and we want them to be the best they can be. So it makes me proud to be a part of not only the school board, but part of the school system. So that's all I've got then.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Ms. Knorr.
Thank you, President Owens. I echo the comments of my fellow board members participating in some of the back to school activities. I was able to attend the part of the leadership retreat, and then the new teacher orientation. And it was great to see all of the new faces, and everyone seemed really excited to be here. And, it's great that we have been able to fill most of those positions, almost all of those positions. And just excited about the new school year. I got to go to some Meet the Teacher nights for my own students, which was great because we didn't get that last year. And it's just so refreshing to be able to start the new school year the way we're used to starting the new school year, and to see the smiling faces of the kids, going in and out of the schools, and to just do what you guys know how to do, teachers and principals and staff. And I'm just looking forward to, building on that throughout the year, and bringing these kids back up, and making up for, what lost time, because we know that exists. But I know that you guys can do it. I have full faith in the staff of MUSD. If anybody can, MUSD teachers will get it done, and we'll be here supporting you 100%. So looking forward to a great year.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Knorr. First off, I want to thank you, Mrs. Anderson, for jumping in 2 weeks ago and running the school board meeting. I had some previous plans that I wasn't able to make it, so thank you for doing that. And I unfortunately wasn't able to attend a lot of the back to school events with the staff and leadership due to work and that kind of thing. But I'm real excited for the energy that's here. I think pretty much every school is represented in our audience here tonight, and I love seeing y'all faces. I really do. I'm real excited for what this year is going to hold. We've got got a lot of work to do this year, but I know well, together we're you know, up for the task. So, and that's all that I have. On to item 5, work study, progress on update on high school number 2. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you, President Owens. We have our update presented according to plan by Mr. Mark Rafferty. So I'm going to invite him to the podium. Take it away.
New microphone. President Owens, members of the board, Dr. Lopman, thank you. I love the expression, according to plan. It's one of my favorite things to say. So a month ago, I introduced how we were going to do these brief updates every month. They may not always be brief, but my part will. We're going to take a look at what we did last month and what we're going to do next month. And I have to say that in this frame, just about everything we said was going to happen this month did happen. We did run into a little bit of a rain interruption. Fortunately, the primary grading had already been completed on the part of the site that was being developed. So, you know, not long after it stopped raining, all the water drained into the proper location, stormwater retention basin. So that was really good. If it had happened a couple of weeks prior, that wouldn't have been the case. So the timing was really good with that. So what has happened is the clearing and mass grading is complete. That's rough grading. The extent that it's possible, the site perimeter is secure, meaning there's now a fence and a gate along Murphy Road. The field office with power and data and communications and surveillance has been established on the site. The laydown area has been rocked in and established. You can see their materials beginning to be stored there now. So all the over excavation, in other words, which was, if there was any mystery in the earth that we couldn't see, it would have been discovered while the over excavation and recompaction was happening. That's done, no mysteries. So the rain interrupted about 3 or 4 days of work. Foundation excavation was resumed yesterday. Foundation reinforcing bars will, or rebar will be put into place between August 2nd and August 6th. The concrete foundations for building C will be poured on August 6th and August 7th. So that's, the building will be established. So the building G foundations are going to start to be excavated on the 6th of August and should be complete by the 12th. And it will continue with rebar, the concrete foundation pours in approximately the same sequence as building C. So these are photos that was taken yesterday morning. And the board can't see me doing this, but I have a pointer. Christine, can you blow that up a little bit for me, please? Just, there you go. So you can see here, audience, this is the building C. These are the building C foundations. So they still have to be cut on the east side. This area is the area of the cafeteria, the gym. This area is the area of the practice field. You can see these retention basins have all 4 of them have done their job. I think that's all I have on that slide. If there aren't any questions, I think everybody's oriented properly, right? This is Farrell, right? This is Murphy. And just a little bit better shot of the two southern retention basins. And pretty cool, really. And here's where the field office and the laydown areas. This area that I did not point out before in front of the gym and cafeteria is going to be the phase 1 parking. So when I said if it had rained 2 weeks ago, it wouldn't have been the same scenario, because you can see these grades are not done. And so it would have made the stormwater runoff not just less predictable, it just wouldn't have done what it was supposed to do. And I have one more of those. This is just the same. We're kind of taking these from the same location. At a certain point, they will actually fly over with a live camera, and there's sort of something three-dimensional on the site to see. You can see here that Global Water Resources is putting in sewer pipe, and that pipe is staged along Farrell Road. That's all I have. Are there any questions?
I love seeing the progress.
I'm sorry?
I love seeing the progress, seeing aerial views, where you can actually, see where the buildings are going to sit. Kind of brings a little bit more life to the project.
Is that it? Right. Thank you. See you next.
Thank you, Mr. Rafferty. All right, item 6, consent agenda.
Motion to approve as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Corey Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye. Consent agenda is approved. On to item 7A, discussion and possible approval of the personnel schedule. Mr. Beckett, good to see you.
President Owens, good to see you as well. Thank you, governing board members, Dr. Loman. You have the personnel schedule in front of you tonight. I'll answer any questions that you have at this point.
Mr. Beckett, should we be concerned that there's already some resignations before the school year even gets going? Or is that, we always have them. I should rephrase that. We always have resignations, but just not this early.
Correct.
Should we be concerned?
I think primarily what you're seeing at this point in time, Member Anderson, are our classified staff members. They are coming back after their summer breaks. There's some decisions they're making about whether this is really what I want to do. So we made some hires. Yes, obviously we're always sad when we see anybody leave.
Right.
But again, I think our supervisors, principals have a good handle on their staffs at this point in time.
Okay.
I'm encouraged, as was mentioned in the superintendent's update, at least from an instructional standpoint, we're set.
Right.
Yeah, and those open positions we're close to filling already as well. So, yes,
Okay.
I hate to see anybody leave, but again, there's a lot of oftentimes many mitigating, aggravating circumstances that make that happen. But I'm not concerned.
Okay. No, I guess, it's better for them to know now versus drag it out until January when it's really hard to find people. So I just wanted to bring that up. But if you're not worried, then I'm not worried.
I'm not worried at this point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Beckett, item 47 and 48, and you and I talked about this. I'm not sure if anyone else had a question about these, but there's a math curriculum planning CTE program. Can you explain that just a little bit for the board here so that we can kind of understand?
Sure. Thanks, President Owens. And again, I've got some good backup right here over my shoulder in case I mess this one up. So the CTE classes are trying to implement some curriculum support for our math programs. This is not taking the place of a class, but it is an opportunity to move some of those math curriculum things that they're learning in a math class into real life practical things in their vocational areas. And so one of the things we've done is one of our CTE teachers partnering with one of our math teachers. They're working together to create some curriculum to help support the advancement of math in our CTE class. Is that close?
Mhm.
All right. So again, great concept. And again, we think our kids struggle a little bit with high school math. This is another opportunity for us to reinforce some important concepts.
Very good.
Yeah.
I love the ingenious
Mhm.
thinking of bringing, two concepts or classes that may not necessarily be associated and making that association.
Absolutely. And when you think of things like culinary arts, and welding, and digital photography, all the math concepts that really are central to those vocations being successful.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yep. Right on. I love it.
And this isn't necessarily a question, but I am pleased to see the addition of the new preschool teachers, that request so that we can expand our preschool. We have, I think Dr. Littman's reported, but we have a significant interest beyond our current capacity for the preschool that was started, 2 years ago? And I kudos to Dr. Littman for that vision for the preschool and your staff for implementing it. And I'm just so glad that we're able to offer that, for a fee-based, but so that there's somewhere that these parents can take their children to get a high-quality pre-K education. It's so important, and I'm just really thankful for your vision for that, Dr. Littman, and thankful that we're going to expand it so that we can serve the population that wants it.
Great. Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, I'd like to motion to approve the HR schedule as written.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Tori Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anne Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye. Personnel schedule is approved by a vote of 5-0. Mr. Beckett,
Thank you, President Owens. I'd like to make an introduction tonight.
please do.
Joseph Brissett, interim AP at the high school, and he has his lovely family with him, or did. They've taken off already. But well, welcome, Mr. Brissett.
All right, welcome to MUSD. And thank you, Mr. Beckett. We are on to item 7B, discussion and possible approval of district qualified evaluators for the 21-22 school year. Mr. Beckett.
Thank you, President Owens, members of the governing board, and Dr. Loatman. This is a housekeeping item that we do every year. This is part of our GCO, evaluation of professional staff. We are required to bring in front of the board a list of either individuals or positions that will serve in a qualified evaluator role. This is our list for this year, and I'm asking for your approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Tori Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anne Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens,
Aye. By your vote of 5-0, our evaluators are approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Don't go anywhere. Item 7C, discussion and possible approval of revised substitute rates for the school year 21-22. Mr. Beckett.
Thank you, President Owens, members of the board, and Dr. Loatman. I'm just going to simplify this. This has been probably 4 years since we've had any kind of rate increase for substitutes. We are looking at a potential minimum wage increase as of January 1st. Some of the projections was as much as 60 cents an hour, which would push that up to about $12.75 an hour. If you do the math, $100 divided by 8, well, isn't $12.75. So we want to make sure that at least our substitutes are getting paid that rate. So we're asking the board to support this tiered increase of $5 for each one of those substitute rates. We feel like this is the right thing. It sends the right message to our substitutes. Well, and I'll answer any questions you have at this point.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What's the district do for subs? Do we outsource that, or do we take care of that internally? How's that work? Can you explain that?
Thank you, President Owens. Yes, we're continuing to use Educational Services Incorporated, ESI. We contract through them. They help us with some of the compliance pieces with leave, and also allow us the ability to be able to employ them for a full 5 days a week without, risking us having to incur benefit costs for a full-time employee. So it's a necessity. We have had a good working relationship for the last 2 years with them, and we're continuing that partnership at this point.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Beckett.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Beckett, I have a couple questions.
Yes.
And you may not have the answers tonight, and that's okay, but I'm just curious. Have we polled our surrounding districts in what they pay their substitutes?
And that is something, Member Anderson, that I will be doing. I
Okay.
typically do that every year. At this point in time, this is just a little bit of a stopgap, so we can plan financially for it. Again, we're hoping we can do an adjustment in January then for the next school year. But
Okay.
this is a stopgap for us.
Okay. Because I mean, is it enough? I mean, that's my concern. Is it enough? And the next thing is I just want to make sure that our teachers who are on staff are still getting paid more than substitutes would. And I realize our teachers get benefits and they get all the other stuff too, but I just want to make sure there is a balance there while still knowing that we have to appreciate our substitutes. We have to have them. But and I'm sure you've looked into it, but I just want to ask that we maybe do a follow-up later and just make sure that it's all copacetic and things are good with staff and substitutes as far as pay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I believe we're committed to a fair and
Okay.
equitable pay, whether it's a substitute or a full-time employee.
Okay.
We want them to feel welcome.
Right.
And we will be competitive.
Okay.
We are in a competitive environment.
Okay. Yes, we are. That's for sure. No, I appreciate that answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no further comments. I move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Corey Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye. Approved 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Beckett. On to item 8, adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Oh, you can have it.
We have a motion and a second. Lisa?
Robert Downey,
Aye.
Tori Anderson,
Aye.
Jim Jordan,
Aye.
Anna Marie Noor,
Aye.
Ben Owens.
Aye. It is 7:03 p.m. and we are adjourned.